Why the ancients buried sheep's wool under plants. The secret of the soil that never dries. Imagine that you are digging a hole to plant a fruit tree, and instead of putting in chemical fertilizer or just black soil, you decide to line the bottom with tufts of dirty, untreated sheep's wool. To a modern observer, this seems like a waste of textile material or just an old superstition. However, if you went back to the mountains of Scotland, the steppes of Mongolia, or the vineyards of ancient Greece, you would see that burying wool was the secret of the masters of the earth to ensure that a plant survived scorching summers and harsh winters without a single drop of extra irrigation. In 2026, while industrial agriculture tries to sell us synthetic and toxic water retention polymers, we are going to unearth the science of subterranean wool. Get ready to discover why burying sheep's wool under plants creates a soil that never dries and nutrition that lasts for years. The science behind this system is what we call keratinous hydrophilia of slow release. To understand why wool is superior to any synthetic sponge, we need to look at the fiber under a microscope. Sheep's wool is composed of keratin, a protein rich in nitrogen, sulfur, and carbon. But the real trick up the sleeve is lanolin, the sheep's natural fat, and the scaly structure of the fiber. Wool can absorb up to 30% of its own weight in water without feeling wet, and it holds that moisture like a strategic reservoir. When the surrounding soil dries out, the wool releases that water slowly to the roots through capillarity. It is an intelligent and biodegradable irrigation system that nature's textile engineering has perfected over millions of years. Why does modern industry hide this? Because dirty wool, the kind that is useless to the clothing industry because it contains debris, is often treated as a low-value waste product. For big fertilizer companies, it is much more profitable to sell bags of NPK that need to be reapplied every 3 months than to teach the farmer to bury a material that will feed and hydrate the plant for up to 5 years in a row. In 2026, true food sovereignty begins when we transform what the industry calls trash into the engine of our abundance. Burying wool is an act of rebellion against the built-in obsolescence of the soil. The engineering of subterranean wool is based on the pillar of aeration and selective drainage. Unlike cotton or other fibers that rot quickly and compact the soil, sheep's wool is extremely resilient. When you bury tufts of wool, they create air channels in the soil. Even when saturated with water, wool fibers maintain oxygen spaces. This prevents root rot, a common problem in clay soils. You are creating a spongy soil structure that breathes and drinks at the same time. It is the ultimate solution for container gardening or compacted land. The first pillar of high yield is the long-duration nitrogen cycle. Most nitrogen fertilizers dissolve in the first rain and wash away into the groundwater, polluting rivers. Wool, being a complex protein, takes years to be decomposed by soil microorganisms. As bacteria and fungi gnaw on the wool's keratin, they release nitrogen steadily and gradually, at exactly the speed the plant can absorb. Burying wool under a seedling is the same as installing a food dropper that doesn't need batteries. In 2026, we are using wool to reclaim desert soils, creating nuclei of fertility that expand as the wool integrates into the Earth's biology. The second pillar is root thermal regulation. Just as wool keeps the sheep warm in winter and cool in summer, it does the same for your plant's roots. Underground, the wool layer acts as a high-performance thermal insulator. During the heat waves of 2026, the soil under the wool remains up to 8 degrees cooler than exposed soil. This prevents root thermal shock, allowing the plant to keep growing even when the sun is relentless. In winter, the wool retains the Earth's residual heat, protecting sensitive roots against freezing. It is passive climate control taken to the cellular level. But there is a technical detail that the ancients knew and modern science has just confirmed: the magnetic effect of lanolin. The lanolin present in raw wool is not just fat. It contains compounds that stimulate the development of mycorrhizae, beneficial fungi that connect to plant roots to exchange nutrients. Plant roots actually hunt for the wool tufts in the soil and wrap themselves around them, creating a perfect symbiosis. A plant growing over a wool battery has a root system up to 40% larger and more robust. You aren't just giving water, you are building a biological communication infrastructure. An advanced secret is the use of wool as a barrier against subterranean pests. Many insects that attack roots and bulbs detest the texture of raw wool and the smell of concentrated lanolin. By wrapping the base of flower bulbs or vegetable seedlings with a wool collar, you create a natural physical and chemical barrier. In 2026, the use of wool is replacing expensive chemical pesticides in the control of soil larvae. It is the engineering of protection through texture. What is soft to us is an impassable jungle for pests. Regarding practical application, the secret of the soil sandwich is vital. You should not just throw the wool on top of the dirt. The correct method from the 1800s requires you to dig a hole 20 centimeters deeper than necessary, place a layer of wool 3 to 5 centimeters thick, cover it with a thin layer of organic compost, and only then place the plant. This forces the roots to grow toward the moisture reservoir. Over time, the wool becomes a mass of roots and humus, transforming into the most fertile soil you have ever seen. Many ask, can I use mattress wool or weaving scraps? The technical answer is yes, as long as it is 100% natural wool and has not been treated with flame-retardant chemicals or synthetic dyes. The ideal wool is waste wool, the kind that comes straight from shearing with the sheep's sweat and bits of pasture. These debris are in fact potassium and micronutrient bonuses for your garden. In 2026, we are seeing the creation of cooperatives between shepherds and farmers to close this zero-waste cycle. The impact of this method on water economy is revolutionary. In field tests, plants with wool batteries under the roots required 60% fewer waterings during the summer. For those living in regions with water rationing or semi-arid climates, wool is the difference between harvesting or watching everything die. It is the technology of resilience. You transform your backyard into a giant sponge that retains every drop of rain for months. A secret kept by the ancients was the use of wool in hanging baskets. Flower pots usually dry out very fast due to wind exposure. By lining the inside of the pot with wool before adding the soil, you create a barrier that prevents lateral evaporation. The plants remain lush for much longer, and the weight of the pot decreases since wool is much lighter than expanded clay or drainage stones. It is the logistical optimization of the vertical garden. In 2026, buried sheep's wool is the answer for regenerating slopes and degraded areas. By burying wool sausages along contour lines, we manage to hold moisture and allow native vegetation to re-establish itself in soils previously considered dead. Wool is the bandage the earth needs to heal from erosion. By adopting this method, you become an agent of planetary healing. Imagine the satisfaction of knowing that, while the world struggles with drought, your trees are connected to an eternal moisture battery. It is the peace of mind that comes from understanding biological cycles. You don't need expensive moisture sensors when you have the wisdom of natural fiber taking care of every root. Wool is the earth's hug for your plants. Implementation only requires you to find a local supplier of raw wool. Often, producers give this material away for free just so they don't have to discard it. Prepare your tufts, make your planting beds, and watch the miracle. In a few weeks, you will notice that the wool-fed plants have thicker leaves, more vibrant colors, and a resistance to pests that defies logic. It is the strength of animal protein feeding the plant kingdom. The secret of sheep's wool is the ultimate lesson in the interconnectivity of life. What protects the animal in the cold is what feeds the plant in the heat. Nothing in nature is isolated. When you bury wool, you are sewing the kingdoms of nature into a tapestry of abundance. In this video, we explored the physics of water retention, the biology of keratin, and the engineering of root thermal insulation. But our journey of self-sufficiency is reaching its moment of maximum integration. We have seen how to obtain water, fire, heat, shade, minerals, protection, and now the eternal hydration of the soil. Now we need to unite all these systems under a single dwelling, a structure that not only protects us, but functions as a living organism. If you want the wool density table by tree type, the guide on how to treat waste wool for agricultural use, and the root symbiosis manual, I have prepared a complete material for our water sovereignty community. The Wool Battery Manual is your guide to a garden that never dies of thirst. It is the knowledge that makes chemical polymers obsolete. In our next video, the grand finale of this epic series, we are going to reveal the secret of the biospheric house, the self-sufficiency geodesic dome. I will show you how to build a structure that integrates the living pool, the air well, the soil battery, the herb spiral, the shade garden, the ash bank, the thermal bottles, and the wool soil under a single sacred geometry. We are going to learn to inhabit the future today. The earth gave us coolness, the air gave us water, the compost gave us fire, the seeds gave us life, the roots gave us purity, the stones gave us abundance, the vacuum gave us comfort, the spiral gave us the harvest, the soil gave us the heat, the shade gave us the efficiency, the ashes gave us eternity, the bottle gave us protection, and the wool gave us resilience. Paradise is ready to be inhabited. Are you ready for the final integration? The manual is in your hands. Until the next lesson in natural engineering.